I remember that feeling of holy envy when I was barely able to play a chord and I saw skillful lead guitarists play in church. Holy because I gave thanks to the Lord for blessing the church with such talent for His glory, and envy because I just wanted to give up playing ever again, because why bother when there's no way in a million years I'll sound as good. I looked up to these guys whom I considered pros, guys who've been around the block, paid their dues, and asked them a specific question: what are you doing that makes you sound pro? They had surprisingly simple answers, and I've summarized them from the many conversations over the many years in the hope that I can help catapult you to the next level in your playing. I've incorporated these 4 simple tips into my everyday playing that you can implement today. So let's get started. Pro tip number 1, know your effects deeply and play them effectively. Yes, I started with a gear-related tip because it's the lowest hanging fruit. Any worship guitarist will be tempted to solve any creative problem by buying yet another pedal. But it's a vicious cycle of buying, trying it one time, and then selling it off as soon as the next fad pedal comes onto the market. Hold your horses. The pros I knew had the same setup for years on end and knew their pedals inside out. They knew how to tweak their gear to create multiple sounds with just one pedal. They knew the nuances between the overdrive types and changed up their playing to accommodate the differences in gain. They even knew how to tweak the wildest sounds from effect categories like envelope filters to incorporate them effectively. Consequently, the pros I knew had small pedal boards because they'd swap out the pedals to fit the set list. What's the point in bringing a colossal pedal board if you're only going to be using 3 to 4 pedals? To demonstrate this, here are some of the sounds I'm getting out of my small pedal board setup. So before you sell yet another of your barely touched pedals, let me encourage you to open the manual, understand the intricacies of your hard-earned purchase, and use one other sound as possible with it at your next Sunday session. You might be pleasantly surprised at how tasteful it can sound. Speaking of tasteful, here's the second thing the pros do. Pro tip number 2, exercise tasteful restraint. Let me preface this tip by saying this applies to guitar players at the Sunday service, not performing on a stage at a gig. Serving in church is not the same as performing on stage, the biggest difference being that we play in a way that doesn't distract people. Our role as an electric guitarist in church is one of enhancement, not entertainment. So while it's commendable you've been woodshedding for years, building a library of licks from the likes of Polyphia and Pliny and can play them perfectly, chances are you're not going to be able to use them in church. The pros are unanimous in their approach to playing. Serve the song. Listen to the worship leader's instructions. If the WL called for a let it rip or go nuts instrumental, then pull out all the stops. Make an offering of worship out of the melodies, the licks, the riffs. But if the WL calls for something simple like following the melody of the song, you listen and you play that melody with all your might, no matter how simple it is. Your many years of woodshedding have led you to play this with confidence and finesse.
Good up. Drop chorus, drop.
Before we go on, are you finding value in this video? If you are, I'd love for you to hit the like button as it lets me know that content like this is relevant for you. It encourages me to make more like this, and YouTube sends it out to more people, so thank you. Since we're on the topic of polyphia and technique, here's a bonus tip. Learn as much guitar technique as possible so you know how to change out your playing if the situation calls for it. In this example, I wanted to support the keyboard playing softly, but my pick attack was too distinct, making it more attention-grabbing than I wanted it to be. I opted for finger tapping since that eliminates the pick entirely and makes the notes more rounded. I call this the overtrain principle at work. Sometimes as church guitarists, we're guilty of undertraining. Since there's no need to play difficult music, we can stop our technical proficiency at the beginner level. I implore you, please don't have this mindset. Push yourself as far as you can. Train yourself to play difficult music and set that as your 100%, so that when it comes to serving in church, where the music only needs 50 to 60% of your technical ability, you can learn the songs quickly and focus on what's truly important as a musician, making that emotional connection between God and the people with your music. Speaking of connections, here's pro tip number 3. Use every control at your disposal. This tip is especially for those of you who have more than 2 overdrives on your board. I'm guilty too. Clean, crunch, lead. That's 3 different levels of gain, and so we think we need 2 overdrives and a boost. But that's too much tap dancing, and so we think we need to get a MIDI controllable loop switcher to manage just the drives. Before long, we sunk in thousands of dollars worth of gear. But what if I told you that there was a way to get more than 3 shades of gain all without spending money on pedals, because you already have this on your guitar? That's right, the volume and tone knobs, your hidden gain pedals. The cool thing about the volume knob is that the change in gain is gradual, not like pedals, which is a sudden change in gain states. This works perfectly for moments where the music needs to be dynamic, like doing the welcome music. This level of control doesn't happen overnight. It's playing your guitar long enough to know its intricacies, like the taper, the volume control, and how it reacts to gain. It's having an intuition about where on the volume knob cleans up on the guitar and how fast it can be cranked from clean to crunch. In short, get to know your guitar well. Speaking of knowing your guitar well, we've come to the last point, which is the most important of all. Pro tip number 4, practice. Period. There's no way around it. Every question you may have about improvement, how do I sound better, how do I play with confidence, how do I milk the tone out of my instrument, practice, practice, practice. I don't have time, I hear you say. It's way too big a topic to be discussed now, but I'm here to encourage you that 5 minutes of structured practice a day every day is better than 5 hours of mindless noodling in one sitting. The key word is structure. Here's the biggest takeaway I got from John Petrucci's rock discipline: being intentional with your practice time. Rather than look at the monolith of technique, we divide technique into categories which enable us to systematically tackle various aspects of it day by day. Let's say there's rhythm, rudiments, and riffs. With rhythm, we're concerned with strumming patterns, chord fragments that go along with strumming patterns, and being tight and precise with our rhythm work. With rudiments, we're concerned with clarity of technique as we play chord and skill exercises, making sure our notes are clean and clear. With riffs, we're concerned with building an internal library of riffs that allow us to fit musical motifs with the rest of the band. If you have 15 minutes a day, you can focus 5 minutes on each R. If you have 5 minutes a day, just focus on one and rotate it through the R's as the days go by. Maintaining this discipline will pay off in the long run because when there are harder songs that come by, you won't find it so hard to get them under your fingers.
Pump it up. Chorus, 2. Outro. Up the clip. 1, 2, drop. 4.
And that's me. What about you? What pro tips have you learned from your guitar mentors or guitar heroes that have shaped your playing and worship ministry? I'd love to hear your stories, ideas, and thoughts in the comment section below. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon to grow the channel, and visit my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can directly support the channel. If you like content like this, in the next video, I discuss a list of behaviors that can be detrimental to live worship, a list that I've used as a mirror to check myself as a guitarist in church. I'll see you there. Let's say hello to the camera.
Hello, Grandma.
Over there. Okay.
I say hello to this
Okay, introduce yourself. What's your name?
friend.
How old are you?
3 years old.
Is that 3? Yes, that's almost 3 years old.
Bye bye, Grandma.
Can you say see you later?
See you later.